Alright, so I asked you guys for some video suggestions and you sent me some. Um, I've been asked to talk about the gun policies that the Obama administration is trying to pass right now. Before I start, I'd just like to apologize if I pause or if my thoughts are a little bit scattered. This is definitely going to be the biggest video I've made so far, so I don't know, you guys just got to stick with me, I guess. But before I start, I'd like to talk about the Sandy Hook shooting. For those of you who don't know what that was, it was a school shooting in Newton, Connecticut. It was on December 14, and it was a man by the name Adam Lanza, or Lanza, I'm not really sure how it's pronounced, but he was 20 years old, and he went to a nearby elementary school and shot 20 kids between the ages 6 and 7, and shot 6 adults. He allegedly shot his mother too. I don't actually know if that's true or not. Last I checked, they didn't know. Maybe they do now. I'm not sure. But at any rate, it was a school shooting, and it was all over the news. It was a pretty big deal. And actually, a lot of people think it was a conspiracy. Like the government faked it so that way they can get more gun policy laws and such. A big video was the Sandy Hook shooting fully exposed. Got something like 11 million views on YouTube. And you know, like anything like that, people made video responses to it. The Amazing Atheist actually made a really good response, debunking a lot of the claims that the video made and such. If you want my opinion, I'm going to be honest, I'm always kind of rooting for, I really like conspiracy theories. It shows me that people are still thinking, they're not just buying into whatever the government's telling them or what other people are telling them. Like, you know, they come up with their own ideas and stuff that could have happened. But, yeah, I don't. This one, it's like I said, the Amazing Atheist debunks a lot of the things a lot of the claims that they make. A lot of the username of the person that made the video is Think Outside the TV, and a lot of he didn't really do his homework at all. He found a bunch of random facts online and put them together in a video. Found a bunch of stuff that fit his story. So personally, I don't really buy it, but what I'll leave the videos in the description box so you guys can check them out for yourselves, come up with your own ideas. But other than that, I just wanted to talk about the Sandy Hook shooting because it has such a big impact. Arguably one of the biggest reasons why the Obama administration is looking to make these new gun policies. Which, these gun policies are, they want to make healthcare for mental illness more accessible for people. They want to illegalize magazines with over 10 rounds. They want to illegalize military assault weapons. They want to heighten the penalties for gun trafficking. Gun trafficking is basically, if you sell a gun to someone who's not legally supposed to own a gun, they want to increase the penalties for that. And they want to increase background checks, which right now they have background checks. If you get your gun taken away legally and you try to get it back, they'll perform a background check first. But what they want to do is just make it universal. Like anybody that gets a gun, they need to get a background check first. Those are some of the things they're looking at. They're also they're trying to illegalize bulletproof vest piercing bullets, some things like that. But that's the big picture stuff. And personally, I think it's kind of reasonable. I don't think it's that big of a deal. I think a gun essentially, people should have guns. Guns should be good for they're in your home and they protect you in case someone breaks in. And you don't, and people like to use the whole I get there's the Second Amendment in the Constitution, right? And people are always like, "Whoa, we need guns for protection," and the Constitution even says so. And you're right, the Constitution does say so. And realistically, if you want to use that argument, Constitution says a lot of things that the government doesn't really follow. Like freedom of expression and pursuit of happiness and stuff. Yet gay marriage is illegal and things like that. So that's a kind of shitty argument. You can't really do that because there's already a ton of stuff the government doesn't pay attention to when it comes to the Constitution. But the protection argument, people say that, and then they've got like 9 guns in their house. They've got like assault rifles and stuff. You need all those guns for protection? No, I don't think so. Like, realistically, you need exactly what this proposal is suggesting, like non-military weapons with 10-round magazine capacities. That's all you. If someone breaks into your house, that's all you need. But essentially, that's not even what I really want to focus on. Because I think there's a lot of people that complain about the gun laws that shouldn't complain about it. It's just like the minute the government wants to talk about gun policies, people are like, no, no, not in my country. Like, they have a really closed mind to it. But on the other hand, if the government really thinks that making guns harder to access for citizens is going to, lower the amount of school shootings, I think they're dead fucking wrong. Because essentially, it's like the argument that people always use: if you illegalize guns, it just means that criminals are going to have them and citizens won't. And it's become kind of a generic way of thinking, but I agree with it because I believe in that because if we illegalize guns and make it illegal for citizens to have, criminals that want to shoot up a school, people want to shoot up a school, like, that's against the law. It's against the law to murder. So they're not going to have a problem breaking the law when it comes to getting a gun illegally, If you illegalize guns, they're just going to find an illegal way to do it. And even if you stopped making guns entirely, that's not going to stop people from killing people, just totally take guns out of the picture. Like, no, if you just wiped guns off the face of the planet, criminals would still find ways to get into schools and kill kids, whether it be with like a knife or a fucking cinder block or whatever. It wouldn't be guns. So, essentially, just because you make guns harder for citizens to get, it's not going to stop criminals from killing people. It's going to happen no matter what you do. But yeah. I guess those are my thoughts on the whole thing. I don't think I missed anything. I think essentially all of these new gun policies aren't going to do shit. They're not really going to change anything at all. But I also think that people are making a bigger deal about them than what's necessary, and they have been. This isn't something particularly new. I mean, gun policy has been talked about for a while now, and I always thought people made a bigger deal than it needs to be. And I think it's mostly like that silly mentality, like people want their lives to be like Call of Duty, where they can run around with a fucking spaz or an AK-47 and shoot the shit out of stuff, and it's not the way life is. Like, guns aren't that cool, I guess the ingenuity of guns are cool. If you look at like how they're created and stuff, like that could be elegant, I suppose. But at the end of the day, they're used to kill people. Like, they're not that awesome, So those are my thoughts. Rate, comment, subscribe, do all that shit, and keep sending me suggestions. Other than that, I guess deuces, motherfuckers.